Okay, so in today's workshop, we are going to set up Cold Lightning and run some nodes on the Reds test. Cold Lightning is the first implementation of the Lightning network. So I have cloned the master repository, and we are at the top of it. So the first thing that we do after installing all the prerequisites that are mentioned on the page uh, is to configure the node to see if we have installed all the required libraries and configure our node according to our needs. So there are different flags which can be used with this configure command. Uh, One of it is for developer, so it's for make developer, so it's for uh, enable developer, sorry. So it will configure the node in developer mode. And if you have not set up Rust as a language, so you can disable it as well. So there are different flags which are also mentioned in the documentation. So let's hit enter and configure our node. So it's checking for all the libraries that are required for the Code Lightning to run smoothly. These are the environment variables which can be set. The one that are against this one are enabled, and the zero ones are disabled. So Valgrind is zero. We don't need Valgrind because Valgrind is a developer tool for checking the memory leaks in the code. Uh, we have also disabled Rust, so you can see it's zero. For Python, we are using Python 3. All right. So after configuring our node, it's a straightforward command. We can write make J. The J flag allows our system to run parallel jobs so that it speeds up the installation process. So I'll run 4 parallel jobs. So now it's building all the files that are in the code base. Here's the code base. So these are the files which the make command is building right now.
So I had a couple of questions, Aditya.
Hmm.
Firstly, the installation process that you are demonstrating right now is specific to macOS, right? So if any participants are on Linux, then it might differ.
It would work similar in Linux as well. And you would need some different things in macOS, but the commands are same because the Mac OS is also a Unix-based system. So the
Okay.
kernel is same in Linux and Mac OS, so it won't differ much. But some things get screwed up in Mac. So,
Okay. All right.
but they would
And
work. Hmm.
one more thing is that after configure, you run the command make, all right? Whereas the
Yeah.
instructions say poetry run make. So it's like one and the same, or what do these two, poetry and run, why do we have to use this? Because when I was building CLN, I went through
Hmm.
the link that you had shared, and after configure, the next command is poetry run make, and you use just
Hmm.
make. So any reason
So
for that difference?
in a very layman terms, poetry creates a virtual machine inside your terminal. So it configures a shell. It creates a shell which is written in Python, and then you are installing the node on that particular shell. When I run make directly in my terminal, it would be installed in my PC. It would not be installed in some virtual shell.
Okay, great, thanks a lot.
No, thank you. So now we have built the node. All the files have built successfully. Now we can start running the node. So the main file, so the structure of Core Lightning is there are different daemons. It's Lightning D, on-chain D, Gossip D, and these interact with each other while you run the node. And the main parent daemon is Lightning daemon. So when you switch on the Lightning daemon, if you look at the code base and read the commands, you would see what is happening. So every daemon calls this in some form. So this is the function that runs when we switch on the Lightning daemon. So when we run this function, it would automatically switch on other daemons as well. So if you read the comments upon every line of code, you would know when which daemon is running. So space span start HSMD in it. So here we are running the HSM daemon. The HSM daemon is responsible for all the cryptographic handshakes that happens while running a Lightning node. So it stands for hardware software module, hardware security module. So we'll be running our node on Reg test because I don't have the whole blockchain of testnet or mainnet right now. There are different flags that you can run with this Lightning D file as well. So one of it is specifying the network, and the other is specifying the log level. So log level, there are different log levels, which basically gives out the information to the user of what is happening at the backend. So there are, I guess, four of them. One is info, one is debug, and so we are going to run our node in debug so that we know exactly what is happening. All right. So the node hasn't started. Why it hasn't started? It's written here. Could not connect to Bitcoin D using Bitcoin CLI. Is the Bitcoin D running? So we haven't. If you have noticed yet, we haven't started Bitcoin daemon yet. So the Lightning node has denied, has said that it hasn't uh, recognized if Bitcoin D is running. So we'll run Bitcoin D first. So Bitcoin D has started in Reg test mode. Now I'll run the same command. Hmm. So now the node has started. You can see all the information that has been dumped on the terminal. So it starts the plugins. These are different plugins. We'll discuss about them in the upcoming sessions, and we'll probably create one as well. Uh, and this is where the Lightning D has started. So before that, it just sets up the basic configuration that is needed. So server is started with public key. This is our node ID, and this is our node alias, which is like just the name of your node. Then it syncs up with the blockchain. So it's a Reg test network. So it only has 115 blocks, which are mined on my local laptop. So it adds all the blocks, and the Gossip D has also started. So if some of you might have heard of the Gossip protocol, which is responsible for sharing the balances and the node graph among the nodes. So Gossip daemon is responsible for that. After running the server, we can run different commands to to the CLI directory. So it has this. I think I'll have mention the network and then the info. Hmm. So the server, so the Lightning CLI interacts with the server which is running here. This is the server. This is the Lightning daemon, and it dumps the information by getting it through the server. So this is just a basic command called get info. It shows the information of our own node. So this is my node ID. This is the alias. This is my address. This is the port on which I'm running it.
Aditya, this part is pretty similar to how when Bitcoin D runs, Bitcoin CLI sort of queries that Bitcoin
Yeah,
D exactly same
yeah,
way.
yeah,
And
yeah.
what is the block? You were saying you were showing some blocks are getting created. Like how can blocks be
Yeah.
created when you go to Lightning D? The other term,
Yeah.
it was showing like a couple of blocks were getting created, right? What are these
No,
blocks?
it isn't creating the block. So Bitcoin D is running at the backend, right? So it has
Okay.
all the information about the blockchain. So Lightning D is fetching block information from Bitcoin D. So it has fetched these from block number 115 to 172 and added them into the Lightning node. So that if some transaction, if you have opened some channel in, let's say, block number 119, it would automatically detect it and add it to your Lightning server that there is a channel which belongs to this node. So
So Aditya, these are blogs on your Reg test node, right?
Yeah.
yeah, these are, yeah. We'll mine them in a moment as well. So
Yeah.
basically, the Lightning D is interacting with the Bitcoin D, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's fetching the information about the blockchain. It has added the blocks, the latest like 10, 12 blocks which are in the reg test. So I hope uh, I am able to explain what these two means, Lightning D and Lightning CLI. So now we'll move on to creating two, three nodes on the reg test and creating channels between them and all of those things. So there's this short script. Wait, there's a shell script created by Lisa, if you guys know her. It's called the startup reg test. So this is nothing but a basic shell script which runs in the terminal. So this is a short script to start up some local nodes with Bitcoin D. All running nodes on reg test makes it easier to test things out. So you can run as many nodes as you want on a single computer using this script, which is inside the contrib directory. So we are going to execute this uh, script inside our terminal. Hmm. All right. So these are the commands that are registered in this script. So if you look at
Hey,
start ln,
Aditya,
there would be a
can
function.
you
Yeah.
hang on? I mean, where did you fetch the script from? If you go to the repository, the Lightning, where did you get which
Mhm.
specific file did you get this from?
It's inside the contrib. Contrib is
Okay,
startup reg test.
okay. So
Hmm.
yeah, if you could like give a couple of minutes to people so
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they can,
sure.
or you can copy and paste this in the lounge so we can just get it from there, the entire script
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
chat.
just a
That'll
second.
be better.
Mm.
Can you just show explain some basics about the script? What is it doing? How it is
Okay, so
establishing?
it's a okay. So this is called a shell script. So these kinds of scripts are written for terminals. So you can run any sort of function on the terminal. So if you look at it here, wait, let me explain. So we call it by the source. So we run the command that I have mentioned in the Discord channel, and then it creates some.
Zoom a bit.
Can you zoom it? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I hope it's visible.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Hmm. So it creates some commands through which we can spin up the nodes on the terminal. So one of it is start ln and followed by a number which indicates the number of nodes that you want to host on your local machine. So if you see, there would be a function named start ln. It's here. So when we run start ln, it runs this piece of code that is mentioned inside these curly braces. So it create. You can read the comments to see what is happening. So it starts Bitcoin D in the background. It waits for it to start. It checks if a default wallet exists or not. If it exists, it loads the wallet, and then it starts like syncing the blockchain. So kick it out of, and then after running Bitcoin D, it creates three Lightning directories. Not three exactly. The amount of nodes that we want to run, uh, it in a loop, it creates the number of directories. So this is the variable for Lightning directory, and then three nodes are hosted on your local computer. Hello.
Yeah, Aditya, going back to that, the shell script that you took from the contrib file, where exactly in the contrib file, if you can let me know again, because
Okay, so have you started the file? Like, have you run the shell script or are you in the file right
No,
now?
no, I'm waiting. I don't know which file. Where exactly is it in contrib?
It's contrib and then startup regtest.sh.
Startup rage test.sh.
.sh stands for shell, so it's a shell script.
Right, but I cannot see startup reg. I'm not able to locate any such file. Is it possible for you to just copy that the piece of code and paste it in the chat?
Yeah, I have pasted the command in the Lightning Dev forum.
No, not in the lighting dev. Here in the lounge, is it possible?
Oh,
On the
yeah,
left
yeah.
side where you see, yeah.
Just a second.
Okay, the entire code, the code that you copied and pasted this code from that file, right? You went to that file and copied and pasted that code, right?
No, the file already exists inside the repository. I'm just
You just
running
need to
this
execute.
command
Okay,
to,
okay.
yeah, you just need to
Yeah,
execute the file.
got it. Thanks.
Hmm, sorry. So if you press tab while writing half of the words, the terminal would automatically complete them based on the files that exist in your repository.
Yeah, done. I'm on the same page as you are.
Great. So now you can see it says these are the useful commands that are registered in this shell script. One of it is start ln, start followed by a number. So if you don't mention three, it would by default create two nodes. If you mention three, it would create three nodes named L1, L2, and L3. Connect one to connect L1 and L2. If you write connect 2, 3, it would connect L2 and L3. Fund nodes connect all nodes with channels in a row. So it would, when you run this command, it would automatically create channels between L1, L2, and L2, L3 in a row. So that's what it means. Stop ln is for shutting down all the nodes, and destroy ln is for removing all the lightning directories. So as you all know, there is a volatile database that is associated with every lightning node. Not volatile, it's dynamic database. So that is stored inside a directory. So when you run destroy ln, it would remove the database that is associated with each of these nodes. So each of these nodes would have their own database, have their own node secret. So that's why we use this command. So now we'll spin up three nodes. Start ln 3. Hmm. Is anyone trying with me? Or,
Yes, I am. Just a second.
yeah,
Let's
sure.
start ln3.
I hope these things might sound overwhelming to beginners, but please pause me anywhere. Like, don't hesitate to pause me and ask questions anywhere you guys want.
Hey, when I run this command start ln3, I get an output command not found. I mean, I do see these snippets on top that you can see start ln3 starts three nodes L1, L2, and L3. So I
What
get the
did you
same
get?
output command not
Mhm.
found.
Okay, you might have. Uh, are you sure you have like written exactly the same thing? Start ln
I
space 3
I'll just share my
underscore as
screen.
well.
So I'll share my screen. 1 second.
Have you started Bitcoin D?
Yes, it's running on rich test.
Great.
Faisal, you might have. It is better if you clear your rec test. If you had already used a rec test, you better clear the directory and then open a fresh one.
Cool. I'll look into that. But is it, like everything is perfect up till here, Aditya? I mean, I got the get info and I got the info as you got, and then I ran the next command and I got the same output. But when I'm running start ln3, I'm getting command not found.
Can you run the script again? Like, just press the upward key.
Okay. This one.
Yeah. Now start ln.
Now you want me to do that again? Start ln. This one. The
Yeah.
command is right. Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing before it,
Yeah.
nothing after it, right?
Yeah, start ln.
This command not found. Okay, here I'll just show you. This is lightning D that is running. Okay. This
You
one
can
I ran this
just
command.
close this. You can close the lightning D
Done.
and lightning CLI as well. And I don't know why the script is not running. Yeah, can you try it in this tab as well?
This tab.
Yeah.
What command do you want me to run?
Contrib startup reds test.
1 second, I'll copy it from here. Yeah. Now
And now
start.
start ln.
Correct, right?
No space after 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the same.
Alright, so I think the issue that you are encountering is because you have installed Lightning D inside the poetry shell, maybe. I'm not sure, though I'll have to.
Okay. This is the Bitcoin D. I think did it shut? It shut, right? When I shut the Lightning D, the Bitcoin D also shut, is it? Because it's shut right now. This is the terminal in which I was running Bitcoin D.
No, Bitcoin D isn't dependent on Lightning D. Vice versa.
Okay, let me just check if it's running. And then we can move on. Maybe if the problem is specific to me, I'll diagnose it later without taking too much of time. Just let me ensure that our Bitcoin D is running.
Yeah, can you cat the ZSHRC?
Yeah, it's running. What Bala?
It's running.
Can you cat the SHRC file?
Cat, as in navigate. Tell me what do you want me to do?
Yeah, cat.
You want me to type in the terminal?
Yeah,
something?
Yeah.
Okay, just a second. Yeah, cat cat.
Tilde. Yeah, root directories.
Yeah.
Slash dot shrc.
Dot shrc.
ZHRC.
Yeah, that's HRC.
Z for zebra.
ZSHRC. Okay, ZSHRC.
No, Z.
I'll execute.
Yeah.
Okay, ZHRC.
Yeah. No, ZSHRC.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It shows some path.
It doesn't seem to know where your lightning commands are. So I think that's as.
But I mean, if the issue was with some configuration, I would not have been able to run this command, right? It is dumping all the data regarding my Lightning node, everything, the IP address, this, that, the network connection, everything. It's dumping, right? The Lightning CLI is responding. It's running on Reg test, and I even issued this get info command. It's even giving me the relevant information, the ID, everything it's giving. So if the issue was with something to do with configuration, then this should not have happened. These two commands should not have been running properly. So maybe because I'm running it in a shell using poetry run make, that might be a reason. So let's proceed now, Aditya, and later on I'll try and build the CLN again without poetry.
I think the issue that you're encountering is because it's not able to create the alias. Like it isn't create. The script is not able to create the directory in your system. So it might be a permission thing as well.
Okay.
If the script is not able to create directories, so you, I think, will have to figure out the permission for the folder that it wants to create the directory in.
Okay. But I have
Yeah.
created aliases. I mean, on the link that you shared, I think there were two aliases that were created. I can't remember the name, and I have created both the aliases. I've even echoed them and checked the paths properly, what the
If
path
you
is for both the
okay,
aliases.
if you look at my terminal, it's
Hmm.
these two lines you are also getting, right? So it figures out the
With
Lightning CLI directory. These two, Lightning CLI is here and Lightning D is here. This
let
you are
me check.
also,
Yes, yes, see. I'll
you
highlight
know.
it. You can see now.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
but
getting it.
it's not able to. Yeah, for the this script also creates this Lightning directory for these nodes inside the TMP. So it
Okay.
might be possible that this the TMP directory is locked. That is what happened with me as well when I bought this laptop at first. So
Oh,
you'll have to give write permission for this folder and then run this script. That's why it isn't able to create the directories, and that's why it isn't able to figure out where the nodes are.
oh, okay. Okay, cool. I'll try and figure that out on myself. If I need
Yeah,
any help, then I'll reach out to you. You can let me know how
yeah,
to unlock that directory. Okay, fine.
yeah.
Let's
Definitely
proceed.
ping me. Cool. So
And stop sharing my screen.
okay. So I've created three nodes here. So the dash CLI is the CLI of these nodes, and the dash log signifies the logs that are thrown by the server. As you all remember, I have started the Lightning D server and it throws some logs in the terminal. So those are stored in the log file. So if I open the logs file, this is the log file of the first node. So as you can see, this is the public key of the first node, and it also syncs up the blocks. There is no gossip, so the gossip daemon is not throwing anything. Similarly, this is the log file for the second node, and same goes with the third node as well. So if we want to run command in any of the nodes, we need to specify the alias L1-CLI or L2.CLI and then get info. So this is the node ID of the first node, and these are the details of the first node. Uh, this is the information for the second node. As you can see, the node IDs are different. It's 0292, it's 0220, and same goes for L3 as well. One more thing. Mm, I don't think many of you might be able to figure out what these param means. So there is a doc directly inside the repository. So it has alias. Just a second. Hmm. So it has a documentary file for each of the RPC commands that exist. So here's the get info. So if you want to see what each of these means, so you just copy the file name, uh, run less. Less is used in the terminal to show the file. Uh, enter the path. It's inside the doc lightning get info 7.md, and it opens the documentation for the command. So here's the documentation. You can read what it means. Command to receive all the information about the Cold Lightning node. Uh, on success, an object is returned containing this. ID means the node ID, alias, the fun alias this node will advertise, the color, number of peer, the total count of peer connected or with channels, num pending channels, the total count of channel being opened. So similarly, you can read for each command there exists a file. So you can just open the file and see what it means. Okay, so now we have set up three nodes, and this is the alias for Bitcoin CLI. This shows the balance I have inside my wallet. Unfortunately, these are all in red test, so they are worthless. So now let's fund our nodes, and then we'll create channel between all the nodes. So this is the RPC that is used to get the address uh, through which you can fund your Lightning node. So this is the address. Now I'll transfer some amount on this address.
I have a question, Aditya. I mean, this is BTCLI, right?
Yeah.
Up till now, with the commands
Yeah.
that you were issuing were Lightning CLI followed by whatever the specific RPC command is. So, what is the significance of changing them to BTCLI and L1 CLI?
Okay,
L1 CLI, I
so
understand, is that specific node.
yeah. It is done by the script. So if you look at it, it create an alias BTCLI. The BCLI, it's a variable. All the things which are mentioned after the dollar sign are variables. So BCLI is Bitcoin CLI, and then I was mentioning the whole command BCLI and then regtest. So it creates an alias for that, which is in short called BTCLI. So the full command would still work. So if I write this, it would. Okay. Oh, sorry. Bitcoin CLI. So it shows the same balance. So it's the same node. It has just the script has created these short aliases to uh, to help the developers test it faster.
Got it. Thanks a lot.
So now we'll send the we'll fund the nodes. This is the address that we want to fund. Now I'll transfer one whole coin to this node. Okay. Sometimes Bitcoin D is not able to figure out the fee rate because this blockchain is locally hosted. So we'll just mention it explicitly. Now, as a non-developer, you all would be stuck here, but I would advise you to read the documentation. It says, if you read the documentation, it would give you all the params that are needed to be mentioned if it throws some error. So here you can see the example as well for Bitcoin CLI. And if you use the named flag, you can mention the fee rate here. So I'll just use the named flag.
Does each instance of a Lightning require a separate wallet that is backed by your Bitcoin?
No. Lightning daemon is not do not care about the wallets that you have inside your Bitcoin core. You just need to fund the addresses that belongs to your Lightning node. So as you know, this address that I have pasted here, I have got this address through this RPC command, L1 CLI new address. So it gives me an address of its wallet, the Lightning node's wallet. Now it doesn't care where I fund it from. So a single wallet would be able to fund multiple nodes as well. I hope it's clear. All
Yeah,
right.
I got it, Aditya.
Cool. So I'll mention the amount one, and I'll mention the fee rate 256. So the command now runs successfully. This is the transaction ID. Now I'll also fund the second node as well, because what we are going to do, we are going to create channels between L1, L2, and L2, L3. And after that, as you can notice, we don't have a direct channel between L1 and L3, but we'll route a transaction from L1 to L3. So if you guys have read the Mastering Lightning book, it explains the protocol for routing the transaction on the network. So that's what we are going to do through CLI. So I have funded the L1. I've created a transaction to fund the first node. Now I'll fund the second node, and then we'll mine these transaction on a block. So let's get the address for the second node. We just need to change the address here.
During while LNCLI spins up a node, it creates its own wallet. Am I correct? Using the create command.
Okay, I'm not sure if I was able to hear what.
Yeah. When LNCLI spins up the node for the first time, it creates its own. It creates its own wallet. Am I correct?
Yeah, sure. Each node has its own wallet, and I'll go to the log and show you how it sweeps the transaction from the blockchain as well. So this address is I fetched this address from the second node. So this is the address of wallet from the second node. I'll also give 1 coin to this. Now, these transactions are not in the blockchain; these are in the mempool. So now, for our node to recognize them, we'll have to mine them in a block, and after our nodes add those blocks inside it, it will automatically detect that this address belongs to us, and it will sweep the coin. So let's mine the blocks. We'll mine one block. Mm, I'm not sure. Hmm. So this is the block hash of the block that we have mined. The number that you mention here would automatically mine the number of blocks that you mention here. So if I mention 3 blocks here, it would mine 3 blocks. So in total, we have mined 4 blocks up till now using the Bitcoin D, and these blocks are on Red's test. So now let's hop over to the log file and see what is happening there. So see, Lightning D has added the block, adding block 173, and this is the block hash 49 BEB. And the wallet inside the Lightning node has logged owning output 1, and the transaction ID is this. So the Lightning node has automatically detected that one of its address has been funding in the latest block, so it owns the output, which is 1 Bitcoin. And then the 2 blocks that I mined after this one are here. So each block it mines, it adds in the Lightning node, it throws in the debug log as well. Same thing happens on the L2 log file as well. It owns the output 1. Now if I run L1 CLI list funds, this is what it shows. So these are all the outputs owned by your Lightning wallet. I hope I'm clear up till now.
In rec test, is it enough to just mine 3 blocks?
Yeah,
Unconfirmed, right? Like you have to
You,
100 blocks.
you can mine like 500 blocks in 1 second. It doesn't matter because the blockchain is locally hosted on your computer. You guys won't be able to sync up this blockchain. That's why these are worthless coins.
Yeah, my question was like you can generate to an address in rec test, you will get some balance, but until you mine 100 blocks on top of it, you won't be able to spend it from your wallet. Am I correct?
No, you will be able to spend it, but through in your local computer only as well. Only. So after getting the coins inside my first node, this first node has 1 Bitcoin, so it can safely transact this 1 coin to L3 or L2 or anyone inside this computer only, because this blockchain is hosted in this computer. It's a local network, Regtest.
I personally also had the same assumption. I don't know how correct that is. That on Red's test, if like you need to mine 100 blocks on top to be able to spend the transaction, because we were doing this in LBTCL every time we were
yeah, that's true. You would have to mine the initial 100 blocks. That's
right, and you're on 173. That's why you're able to spend these transactions immediately.
Yeah. Sorry, I misunderstood the question. I thought he was asking that I would not be able to transact these coins in the block. But yeah, you would have to mine the initial 100 blocks.
Okay.
All right. So up till now we have funded the L1 and L2. Now I'll create channel between these two nodes. So L1 CLI. I'll need the node ID of the second node. So This is the node ID, L1 CLI fund channel. This is the node ID. I would have to mention its address as well. So it's node ID, and then you append an at, and then the address. So it's the address is as you can see, it's localhost. So you can mention either this 127.0.0.1 or localhost, and then the port. Okay, I would have to mention the amount as well. Let's do 100,000 sets. So it creates a transaction. This TX parameter contains the raw transaction of the commitment transaction that you might have read from your theory classes. This is the transaction ID of the commitment transaction. This is the channel ID, and these are you would recognize these things if you have read the theory. So these are called the features of the channel. So we have enabled static remote key and anchor zero key. So we have broadcasted a commitment transaction for a channel between L1 and L2. Now we'll create a channel between L3 and L2.
Aditya, would a refund transaction also be created parallelly?
Yeah, that all that happens in the backend. So if I run the command list peer channel, it says this is the information about the channel that we have just created with L2. So this is the peer ID. This is peer connected. Awaiting lock-in means the commitment transaction hasn't been mined on any block yet. So it's the state is awaiting lock-in. Yeah, this is the channel ID. This is the funding TX ID, and the refund transaction that you're telling, it creates it, but it all happens in the backend. So if I run the log file and go to the bottom, you would see what is happening. So fund channel start, it creates the PSBT. So, yeah, so here it broadcasts the funding transaction. State changed from open committed to awaiting lock-in. So the signature has been exchanged. It seems that is why it has transitioned to awaiting lock-in state. Now I'll create a channel between L2 and L3. Yeah. Hello.
Yes, you're audible, Aditya.
Okay. So I would need the node ID of L3. I would run fund channel, mention the address. It's on port 7373 and 100,000 sats. So we create a channel between L2 and L3.
How did you get the fund channel ID? Like, where does the ID is coming from?
Which ID?
L2 CLI fund channel, and then you have a expression, right, which is pretty long. What is this?
Yeah. This is the node ID of the node that you want to create the channel with. So I have took this from here. So it's L3 CLI get info.
Okay.
So this is the node ID of L3. So I mentioned fund channel, and then I gave my node the node ID of the node that I want to create a channel with, and then I mentioned its address. So it's localhost, since the nodes are hosted on my local computer, and the port 7373. So port 7373 and the amount. It says could not afford using all the. Okay, I think I might not have. L2 doesn't have the funds, it seems. Let's check. Funds. Feared. 9. It has the form. So the transaction, so I transferred the coin to L2, but then the transaction was still in the mempool. So I mined three more blocks, and that's how the transaction through which I fund the L2 node got in one of these blocks, and then L2 recognized and it funded this channel. So for L2 and L3, this is the raw transaction, the commitment transaction. This is the transaction ID. This is the channel ID. I hope you all are not confused by now.
No, it's clear, Aditya. You're going pretty well.
Great. All right. So up till now, we have created two channels between L1 and L2 and L2 and L3. The channel between L1 and L2 is confirmed because after creating the channel, I have mined these blocks. So the commitment transaction would have been in one of these by now. So the channel state for the L1 and L2 would have transitioned to channel ready. It's called channel ready as far as I know. We'll see. So I'll run list peer channels. Yeah. So it's channel D normal. Sorry. So the state is called channel D normal. It says channel ready for use. But the channel between L2 and L3 would not have been in this state. It would still be in signature exchanged waiting for lock-in. List peer channel. It says signature exchanged waiting for the lock-in. So I'll mine some blocks again to get the transaction inside the blockchain. So I mined a block and wait for a couple of seconds for the nodes to sync up. So the L2 and the channel between L2 and L3 also have gone in the normal state. So now these three, so up till now we have created channel between L1, L2, and L3. There is a direct channel between L1 and L2, and there is a direct channel between L2 and L3, and those are funded, and the commitment transaction is inside the blockchain. So these are good to go. We can create invoices and pay them over Lightning. So now I'll create an invoice from the L3 node, and then I would make L1 pay the transaction. Since they don't have a direct channel, the transaction would be routed through L2, and we would figure that out from the logs as well. So let's create an invoice from L3. L3 CLI. The RPC is called invoice. 10,000 sats. Then we need some more params. I don't remember what are those. Okay.
Just one doubt. What is
Yeah.
that might not be a channel between L1 and there might not be a channel between L1 and L3, but if they are peers, can they be peers?
Yeah, they can be connected to like share gossips and all. So you don't need channels between nodes to be connected. You can just connect to them and receive gossips and do other stuff as well. So it's not only channel. Right now, we are not even connected to L3. I haven't, if I see the peers of L1, you would just see the one peer, and this one is L2. Wait, L2 CLI get info. So the node ID that is mentioned here, 0220C8, is the node ID of L2. So L1 is just connected to L2, and L2 is connected to L1 and L3 because L2 has a channel with both L1 and L3. So right now we'll create an invoice from L3 and pay it, and L1 will pay it. So the transaction would route through L2 because they don't have a direct channel.
Okay.
So L3 invoice 10,000 sats. We need one more parameter, that is label. So yeah, and okay, we need description as well. So description could be anything like we're buying 5-star. So it creates the invoice. This is the bold. This is the invoice. You guys must have. You all must be able to recognize this from the theory that you have read. So this is the invoice that we'll pay to L1. It shows a warning as well: insufficient incoming capacity once dead end peers were excluded. So dead end peers are those peers who are just in a single line. So if we this is our Lightning network inside our local computer. So if I remove the dead end peers, i.e. L1 and L2, we don't have enough income capacity, so we can safely ignore this warning. It basically means we are not well connected in the network. We need more peers. So I'll copy this invoice. I will run L1 CLI pay. So it failed. Fail reason, it says destination this, and this is the node ID of the third node, L3 CLI get info. This is the node ID of the third. So it says destination this, since we are trying to pay the invoice created by L3, is not reachable directly, and all route hints are unusable. So basically, our node is not able to find the path between L1 and L3. And that is because if you have read the inside Code Lightning only shares uh, channel information in the network if the commitment transaction has been 6 blocks older. And since we haven't mined like 6 or 10 blocks after mining the commitment transaction, our node is not able to find a path between L1 and L3. If I try to pay an invoice created by L2, it would able to pay it because we have a direct channel with it. So now I'll mine some blocks so that it basically tells the whole network that hey, there is a channel between L2 and L3, and so L1 would know that to reach L3 I would have to route it through L2. I'll show it in the logs as well. So I'll mine 10 blocks. These are the block hashes of the 10 blocks that are mined. Now we'll wait a couple of seconds for the nodes to sync up. So it adds, these are the 10 blocks that I have mined right now, 181 to 190. After it mines the block, it says peer out wire announcement signature. So it announces the signature, handle funding depth. So the depth is changed. And then the gossip D comes into the picture. So gossip D inject gossip via channel announcement. So if you have read the gossip protocol, it has 3-4 messages which are used to propagate information about channel and peers in the network. So the gossip D creates a message, channel announcement. This is by L1. So L1 basically creates a channel announcement for its channel between L1 and L2, and it also receives a node announcement for L3. So L1, for the first time, L1 has known that there is a node which has this node ID inside our network. It receives channel update, and this is the channel update between L2 and L3. So now it creates a local graph of the network. Since you all know Lightning Network do not have a central graph, so each node creates its view of the network through gossip. So L1 has received that there is a channel, so now it will create a local graph that there is a channel between L2 and L3. So now after receiving the gossip and updating its graph, we would able to pay this invoice. So the status is complete and the transaction has been paid. So if I look at L3 CLI get funds, list funds, sorry. You would see there is a channel between L3 and L2. So this node ID belongs to this node ID belongs to L2. It says connected true. This is the channel ID. This is the short channel ID. And this says R amount M sets. It means the sets that we own inside this channel, and amount MSATs means the overall amount that is inside the channel. So 100,000 sats, it's an MSAT. So 100,000 sats was the capacity of the channel, and 10,000 has been paid. This is the funding TXID. So this is, we have done this payment through the Lightning node, so we won't have to mine any blocks. Now let's look at the log. Since L1 has paid this invoice to L3, we would see some HTLCs getting created inside L2, and that is how it creates the transaction. So wait, I'll zoom out a bit. I hope it's visible.
Yeah.
So create and commit. This is where the channel gets created, I guess. So okay, so from a broader perspective, you can see that first in the logs, we can see there is some communication with chan1. So the chan1 denotes the channel of L2 with L1, and then there is some communication between in the chan2, and chan2 denotes the channel between L2 and L3. So it first create a HTLC with channel 1, and then routes it to channel 2, and then when L3 releases the payment hash or the pre-image, sorry, not the payment hash but the pre-image that is created here. Wait, this is the payment secret. So after it receives the coins, it gives out the payment secret to L2, and then it redeems its coin from L1, and then the transaction occurs. Similarly, we can like create 10 nodes and fund channel between them. So L1 might have a channel with L2, L2 would have a channel with L3, and so on and so forth till L10. And I would be able to pay an invoice created by L10 through L1 by routing the transaction in this whole network.
In this example, has L2 collected a routing fee?
Yes, it must have some fees. Those are all you can set the routing fees, and if you're a routing node, you would have to configure it differently. So you would have to mention the fees and all of those things that you want while configuring the node. So it would have gathered some fees, but that would be like the default that is set inside the CLN. So if you can see, there's the difference that you see between L1 and L2. Since we have the funded channel between L1 and L2, all the 100 sats belong to L1. So the difference that you find between the balance that it is now has been the routing fees that it has gathered from this transaction.
Okay.
Wait. So this is the node ID 02902B. 02B. So this one is the channel with L1. So it must have gathered like thousands sats. But you would have to you would have to subtract the amounts and see it for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is like the objective of this workshop was to get you all introduce you all to how Pure Lightning works. What is the Lightning D? What is the Lightning CLI? And how can you create invoices and pay through the RPC command? There are a lot of more commands which you can read through the documentation as well. This is the documentation portal of CLN. You can, yeah, the API is set up in Git. There has to be one for APIs. Okay, API reference. So these are all the APIs that we have used. So we have used pay. So you can search pay. Uh, is the documentation for pay. So similarly, you can read documentations of all the RPCs. It's in this format. So it says this is the command, and all the params that are not included inside square brackets are mandatory. So you would have, when you use pay, you would mandatorily have to give it a bolt 11. That is the invoice, and then you can also uh, optionally mention these params as well. These are optional because these are determined by the node in default as well. But if you are an advanced user, you can set these as per your convenience. You can read about each one of these parameters here. So if you want to read about what is risk factor, you can, okay, if they have mentioned it. Risk factor. The risk factor is described in detail in the Lightning get route. So you would have to uh, go to the basically you can see what each of the parameters mean on this page. This is the document. This is the official documentation by Code Lightning. It not it uh, it has other things as well, like how to back up your node, how to open channel, how to run your node, back up your wallet, the best watchtowers, and all of those things. So you can read them and play around with your node in the reg test. So I hope this workshop is successful in enabling you to run the node and play around with it. Some of you can also create a node and sync the testnet blockchain and do the transactions on testnet or mainnet if you guys are courageous enough.
Yeah, I mean, I firstly thoroughly enjoyed the session. Like you were absolutely amazing, Aditya. And one a suggestion that I had, or one thing that I had in mind is that how about creating a system agnostic shell script? Okay, so like we can create a system agnostic shell script that does everything.
Mhm.
Okay, like what we did today. Okay, so we can if somebody comes to Bitshala in the future, they've missed this lesson or whatever, so we can have it somewhere at Bitshala where you have this system agnostic
Mhm.
shell script which you just dump on your command line terminal, and it spins up three
Mhm.
nodes and it establishes connections between them and routes invoices. Like how do you think it sounds good to you?
Yeah, that's doable. So we would have to create a shell script and write all the commands inside the shell script, and so the user would execute the shell script, and all of it happens at the back end. That's what you mean.
Yes, exactly. So
But would that be helpful? Because the idea of it is to like enable users to do all of these things by their hands. Like if I just run a script and all these things happens at the back end, the user won't be able to get anything out of it. Is what I
okay.
think. But if you guys suggest, I can do that as well.
So I mean, like I think for a first timer, like if after this session I try and recall every single command that was executed in the session, it might be quite difficult for me. So like the concept would be that the person obviously has to try it on his own,
Okay.
but if he gets stuck somewhere, if he fumbles, and maybe he can refer to that script and know that maybe there's a typo, maybe
Mm-hmm.
there's some keyword that he's missing, because that's what we did at LBTCL, right? We have all the shell scripts
Yeah.
available in Chala's GitHub repo, and that is what we were doing. We were doing it on our own, and once we've done it completely, then we were converting it into a system agnostic shell script, and that was our assignment. So this is like a very basic,
How
like
about
yeah.
how about I create a doc where I mention all the commands that have been used in this particular.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be good as well.
Yeah, like the initial command contrib startup registers start ln and the get info, create invoices and all of those things. I would mention it in the doc. So after each workshop, I'll create a doc with all the things that we have done in that particular workshop. Because in the upcoming one, I think uh, we are going to delve a bit more into the code base, so it would get a bit more technical. So I think
Cool.
a
And
doc
if
would be good.
Right. If you need any help from my end or anybody else here as well, like there's Setu, there's Bala, there's Bitalu. These guys are like very active and very keen and very curious in participating and contributing to community projects. So you can just post in the thread that if you need any help, any assistance, then whoever is available and has the competence will definitely reach out to help you.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll 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 tell you if I need any help in creating the talk.
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot. On my end, I'll try fixing this macOS thing, okay, or else I'll probably
Mhm.
switch to a Linux and try executing it on my own as well. And if I have any queries,
Mhm.
then I will reach out to you.
I'm 99% sure the issue that you're encountering is because the TMP directory is the script is not able to create directories inside your TMP folder.
So how did you get
It's a well-known
access
issue.
to it?
Yeah, you would just search on Google how to give write access for TMP directory, and there is a thread on macOS forum, and they tell it step by step. So you would have to enable developer mode inside your Mac. It's something I don't remember exactly because I've also dealt with it
Right. Yeah.
initially.
Sandeepan has a suggestion, probably a blog post about this workshop. But I think Setu, currently we don't have any platform at Bitshala, right, where we can host write-ups. You can
Post
do that in Medium or something, but nothing on Bitshala, right? Where you can put a blog somewhere on Bitshala's intellectual property.
No, we don't have that. We were planning to start a newsletter, and the template is ready and email is set up, but we don't have it hosted on somewhere so far.
Right. So we
We
can
can
keep this in
start.
mind.
Yeah, we can start.
Yeah, Setu, that would be good because while learning, we create some, like we write for our own understandings. It would be great if we can share it somewhere. Right now, we are doing it only on Discord.
Okay. So at Kala, where I've done some classes, and then I've done a few codes there. So therein, in most of the codes, there were two kinds of proof of work. One was, of course, like on GitHub. The other was on Medium. But I don't think anyone uses Medium anymore. So I can figure out probably like what's the best way to post the content that we have created. Uh, yeah, let me figure that out and discuss it in the group itself.
Yeah, that would be great.
Hmm. Uh, okay, so Faisal, I think you would have to refer to this specifically. Permission on TMP folder.
Permission on TNT folder. Fine, I'll look into it.
Aditya, why don't we use Docker for this kind of hosting?
There is an option to install Code Lightning using Docker as well, but I just thought like installing it through the source is fun and without any shell.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think in
We can do
mastering
Docker
the
as well.
Lightning Network, they do it. I mean, the instructions are via Docker, is it? I think it's via Docker. In mastering the Lightning
Yeah,
Network, it's
it
via
must have
Docker.
been through Docker. Yeah. The so the so uh, I thought in the upcoming sessions uh, we would write plugins. So you guys must not have any information regarding what are plugins for Core Lightning. So I thought we'll write some Hello World plugins which build upon the Lightning node. So that's why I instructed all of you all to install it without Docker. So we would enable developer mode and then code something in Python or C or Rust in upcoming sessions.
Gotcha. That really sounds interesting.
Hmm. So one thing that I need from all of you all is please be brutal and honest in your reviews so that we can improve this as weeks passes. So kindly give me suggestions what if I have been like too fast or too slow or whatever you think is happened.
Sure, sure.
Great.
Okay, then Setu. I don't think Setu's. Yeah.
Sorry, I was responding to a message. Cool. I think it was a great session, Aditya. I had some issues setting up my uh, uh, lightning thing because my laptop is not working. The one that I use for Rectus, but I'll follow the instructions maybe this after this
Great.
session.
Yeah. Do let me know if any of you encounter any issue while setting up the node or running that script.
Sure thing.
Great. All right.
Also,
So I'll create a doc for the next week in
that'll
1 or 2 days.
Yep, that'll be helpful.
Yeah.
It's
So
a
I have
recurring
some
event, so
ideas.
yeah, we can just, if you have a brief idea, maybe you can go and update the event itself with a small summary, and then you can re-update it 2 days later with a more elaborate thing. Or you can just let me know, and I can do it right now, and then make it more elaborate 2-3 days later when we have more details.
Okay. So I have two ideas for the next week. We can either delve deeper into the recovery methods used by the Lightning node. So the Lightning has this backup issue, which is well known. You might have read it in the book as well. So we would see how cold Lightning recovery methods work. What are the different safety nets that can be used while running a node? So we would basically host up nodes, create transactions, and then we would corrupt one of the nodes. Like we would delete the database, and then we would try to recover it. So either we can do that, or we can delve deeper into the code base. We can. So the structure of Core Lightning is there are particularly four daemons: Lightning D, On-chain D, and SSMD. So we can delve deeper into how those work. So if you can see my activity monitor right now, so since we have hosted like 3 nodes, right? So
Yeah.
these are the main sub processes, the Lightning D, and these are the subdaemons for each of the node, the HSMD. So this is how. So we can delve deeper into the code base, or we can just uh, do the recovery instead in the upcoming week. What do you guys suggest?
For now, today we learned about opening a channel and then paying invoices. So, can we look into closing of channels, forced closures, those kinds of thing at the channel level?
So next week would be about closing channels and recovering your nodes if you lose the database.
Okay, and the routing failures, how our node might not be able to find the destination, that kind of thing at the channel level.
Cool. So by the next workshop, I'm assuming all of you all would be able to run the script and run these commands and create channels between the nodes on your edge test. Then we can move further to different things like force closing and static channel backups and those.
Right. I think that's the more important thing, that we need to first catch up with what was covered in this session, and then only it makes any sense for us to show up in the next session and take things forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will also try and like do this on my own. Okay, and if I come across any issues, I'll let you know. And also on your behalf, if it's possible for you to create a shell script or at least a doc with the commands, because I personally do not recall all the commands that we executed. I'll
Yeah, I'll do
probably
that. I'll
yeah.
definitely do
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
These commands, they are same between implementations, right? Because I already running a LND instance, so the basic things like get info, the fundamental commands.
It's not necessary. If they are same, it's by coincidence. Like there is no uh, central protocol for these commands. So these depends on the implementation. I'm assuming if LND has get info, it's just by chance.
Okay.
Each one is different from another, but the protocol through which they function is same. So you can create a channel between a CLN node and an LDK node or an LND node, but the commands would be different. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Anyway, I in the past few days created LND and spun up 2 nodes, and I have connected them. And I am yet to send open channels and pay invoices through them.
Great. Yeah, we can in like after after exploring CLN, we can move on to LDK as well. For the past couple of months, I have been working on LDK, so I'm well versed with their code base as well. So we can create a wallet using LDK.
Okay,
Do
okay.
some cool stuff there as well,
Fine.
or LND.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we're done for the day.
Oh, yeah. Thanks a lot, Aditya. We won't extend the session and take too much of your time. Yeah, Saurabh, some closing comments from your end.
I think it was a good start to sort of setting up your own Lightning node and querying it using Lightning CLI. So next session we sort of take it ahead. And in the meanwhile, for this week, if anyone has any doubts, they can drop it in Lightning Dev channel, and we can keep on discussing there. Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Aditya. Good night.
Thanks everyone. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Aditya. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.